Clayton Kershaw, from a young pitcher to an MLB legend. Imagine a pitcher standing on the mound, while the batter standing across from him knows that the next pitch could change everything. A pitcher whose fastball wasn't just speed, it was fear. A pitcher whose curveball was almost impossible to read. And whenever Clayton Kershaw held the ball in his hand on the mound, even with thousands of fans screaming inside the stadium, there was a strange silence in the air. But do you know something? The pitcher that the baseball world now calls a legend was not always perfect. His journey was filled with doubts. There was pressure. There were failures. And there were moments when injuries forced him away from baseball. Yet every single time he came back. But the question is, what exactly did Clayton Kershaw do that transformed him from an ordinary young pitcher into an MLB legend? And what was the moment in his career that changed his legacy forever? This is the story of Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw's baseball journey began in Texas. From childhood, he had an incredible passion for baseball. He didn't simply want to play the game, he wanted to master it. Young Kershaw had natural talent, but talent alone doesn't make someone an MLB superstar. He had to spend endless hours working on his pitching. He had to improve his mechanics during every practice. He had to control every pitch. And most importantly, he had to prepare his mind to handle pressure. Slowly, Kershaw began making a name for himself in high school baseball. When scouts watched him pitch, they quickly realized that there was something special about this young left-hander. His arm action was smooth, his pitches had movement, and his most dangerous quality was control. In 2006, the Los Angeles Dodgers selected Clayton Kershaw in the MLB draft. At the time, even Kershaw himself probably didn't realize that this decision would change his life forever. Inside the Dodgers organization, he continued developing his game. In the minor leagues, he had to learn how to attack professional hitters. Every game was a test. Every batter was a new challenge. And then the day finally arrived that he had dreamed about since childhood. Clayton Kershaw made his MLB debut for the Los Angeles Dodgers. For a young pitcher, stepping onto a major league mound isn't easy. Thousands of fans, huge expectations, professional hitters, and pressure on every single pitch. But Kershaw quickly began showing everyone that he wasn't just another young prospect. He had the mentality that separates great pitchers from everyone else. He attacked hitters. He didn't run away from pressure. And he learned from his mistakes. Within just a few seasons, Clayton Kershaw became one of the most dangerous pitchers in Major League Baseball. His fastball was powerful. His slider confused hitters. And his curveball was a pitch that could make a batter feel completely helpless. But Kershaw's true weapon wasn't only his pitches. It was his confidence. Whenever he stood on the mound, his body language made it clear that he wasn't afraid of any batter. In 2011, Kershaw completed an extraordinary season. He established himself among the National League's top pitchers. And after that season, he won the National League Cy Young Award. But Kershaw wasn't ready to stop. Over the next few years, he continued increasing his dominance. Season after season, he remained among MLB's elite pitchers. In 2014, Kershaw produced a season that would be remembered in baseball history. He won the National League Cy Young Award. But this time, the story was even bigger. He was also named National League MVP. A pitcher winning the MVP award is an extraordinary achievement in itself. And Kershaw proved that he wasn't simply a great pitcher. He was the defining superstar of his generation. But every legend story has a difficult chapter. Kershaw's career had injuries too. Back problems, shoulder issues, and other physical challenges began affecting his consistency. When you use your arm at maximum intensity for years at the MLB level, eventually, your body can begin to fight back. Kershaw had to face setbacks as well. Some fans began asking questions. Could Clayton Kershaw return to his old form? Was his best baseball already behind him? Had injuries slowed down his legendary career? But Kershaw didn't answer his critics with words. He answered them on the field. He continued his rehabilitation. He continued training. He adapted his pitching. And whenever he got the opportunity, he returned to the mound. That is what made Kershaw special. Greatness isn't only about dominating when everything is going your way. True greatness is standing back up after you fall. Another important part of Kershaw's story was the postseason. His regular season dominance was incredible. But in baseball, a pitcher is often judged by one thing. What does he do in October? Postseason pressure is completely different. Every pitch carries more weight. Every mistake can end the season. And Kershaw also had to face difficult moments in the postseason. In some games, he looked unbeatable. In others, he faced disappointment. But every experience made him more mature. Then came 2020. The Los Angeles Dodgers made their way to the World Series. And Clayton Kershaw had another opportunity. An opportunity to take his legacy to another level. The Dodgers defeated the Tampa Bay Rays in the World Series. And Clayton Kershaw became a World Series champion. Think about that moment. A young boy who once dreamed about baseball in Texas had now won a championship on the biggest stage in Major League Baseball. He had won Cy Young awards. He had won an MVP. He had earned all-star selections. He had set records. He had faced setbacks. And now he had the trophy every baseball player dreams of winning. But Kershaw's legacy isn't limited to trophies and statistics. His story away from the field is also incredibly powerful. Clayton Kershaw and his wife, Ellen, have made philanthropy and charitable work an important part of their lives. The Kershaw family has supported charitable work for children in Africa. Their belief was that success isn't simply about moving forward yourself. It's also about giving others a chance to move forward. And perhaps that's why fans don't see Kershaw only as a great pitcher. They also see him as a leader, a family man, and an athlete who wants to make his success meaningful. Clayton Kershaw's story teaches us an important lesson. Talent can give you a start, but discipline makes you great. And resilience makes you a legend. Kershaw had natural talent, but he combined that talent with discipline. He spent thousands of hours practicing. He worked on his weaknesses. He improved his pitches. And when injuries challenged him, he refused to lose his identity. He adapted. He kept learning. And he kept coming back. Today, when baseball fans hear the name Clayton Kershaw, they don't remember only a pitcher. They remember an era. A Los Angeles Dodgers superstar. A left-handed pitcher who gave hitters nightmares for years. A player who won Cy Young awards. An MVP. A World Series champion. And most importantly, a competitor who never depended on the easy road. Kershaw's story also teaches us that becoming a legend isn't the result of one single moment. To become a legend, you need years of consistency. You have to prove yourself every season. You have to come back after every failure. And when the world doubts you, you have to keep believing in yourself. Clayton Kershaw did exactly that. From a young pitcher to an MLB superstar. From a superstar to a Cy Young winner. From a Cy Young winner to an MVP. And then, a World Series champion. But perhaps the most powerful part is this. Even after all that success, his story isn't complete. Because in baseball, numbers eventually become part of the record books. Trophies eventually end up in museums. But legacy lives in the hearts of fans. And Clayton Kershaw didn't build his legacy with pitches alone. He built his legacy through determination. He built it by standing strong in the face of pressure. He built it by making comebacks after injuries. And he built it by turning every difficult moment into part of his journey. So the next time you see Clayton Kershaw standing on the mound, don't just see a pitcher. See a player who spent years working to turn his dream into reality. See a competitor who accepted failure, but never allowed failure to become his identity. And see a legend who proved that greatness doesn't come from talent alone. Greatness comes from discipline, sacrifice, faith, and above all, never giving up. This was the story of Clayton Kershaw, the journey from a young Texas pitcher to a Los Angeles Dodgers pitching legend. And if you feel that Clayton Kershaw's story inspired you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, what do you think was Clayton Kershaw's most legendary moment? I'll see you on day 14 with another unbelievable baseball story.